Somebody up here. Yes, please.
If you this up back in 1997,
Yes.
can you share with us, have there been any noticeable differences in what futures that we were doing at that time?
Well, I think what we are much more conscious of today, and let me just pick one thing, there have been a number of them, and that is bubbles. We were in a bubble then. We thought we were riding high on the internet and people were going to be making money with no revenue. How silly was that when that crashed? The housing market bubble. So I think we're much more conscious that when something is too good to be true, it probably is. And so I think we're somewhat more skeptical and cautious. Because then the question is, what is going to be the engine of the next economy? I mean, if tech was the engine of the 90s economy, and finance and debt and derivatives were the engine of the 2000s economy, what is going to pull this out of? What is going to pull this economy out of the doldrums that it's in? What is going to be the next? And then the problem will be, and I think this is inherent in both capitalism and in politics, is if something starts to work, we push the pedal to the metal and we go way to excess. And I'm a great believer with Aristotle. Everything in moderation except moderation. And so in systems it's called positive feedback loop. So if more debt gives us higher housing prices and higher housing prices, and that cycle just starts and starts and starts and goes totally beyond its capability to sustain itself, and it crashes again. Can we have an economy that grows in a reasonable manner? So my question is maximum growth the right goal? Or is moderate growth the right goal? Moderate growth that doesn't get us into these boom and bust cycles. I don't know the number, but I'm pretty sure there are fewer jobs today than there were in the U.S. economy in 1997. Where's the growth? We went up, down, and up, and down. So I think we're more conscious of that than we were before. We were claiming, and each time, there's a great book written by a couple of economists in Maryland that talk about the boom and bust cycles throughout history, beginning with the tulip crisis, whenever that was. The name of that book is This Time is Different. And of course, it hardly ever is. So, obviously, the geopolitical situation, 9/11, the wars were a big surprise to everybody. And yet I have to tell you, we did a scenario for the vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The first scenario project I ever did at the university was 1991. The Berlin Wall had just collapsed. Communism was now gone, at least in Russia. And he came to two of his agencies and two external groups. One of us was the external group, and said, give me scenarios about what the future geopolitical military situation would be like. And our students did some scenarios. Some of them were okay, some of them were awful. One of them nailed it. It was terrorist, it was asymmetric warfare, it was high tech, it was protest, global protests, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you could have put 9/11 and the Arab Spring and all that into that. And exactly, it had all the right elements. It went to a group that had to condense all of these for the admirals reading. They left their stuff. It was going to be peer competition. It was going to be China or Russia resurgent or something like that. So it was something that had to have aircraft carriers and nuclear submarines in it and ballistic missiles. Else, well, that's not the world. And now, of course, we still have those. Probably may need them someday. I hope not, but we may. But that's not what our threat is. And they had completely missed that.
I think Max said something about, even though you're up here, you teach an internet class of some kind. I don't know if that's all the teaching you do is internet or not.
It's both.
But I have a question. And that's boom from many.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Yes.
But when you teach on the internet, do you teach differently than you did otherwise?
Yes.
Or are you trying to reach those goals of all this stuff
Right.
compared to just the basics?
That's a very, very good question. And the answer is I was that kind of teacher, I hope, before I started teaching on the internet. The internet did change a lot of what I do. But I'm not a lecturing kind of teacher. And of course, I'm teaching a graduate program, so these are adults and they're pretty responsible, so I don't have behavior management problems. So they have a big reading list and they read that, and we come together in class. So our class is discussion and activities about the stuff. I'm not talking to them. And I think I wish more teachers were that way. So I was that way before. What changed on the internet was that I had to be super prepared with readings. Before I could kind of go in, wave my hand, say, let's do this, let's do that, blah, blah. So I was kind of relaxed, let's say, not disorganized, but relaxed. But it's like we go and do a survey online, you better have every word crystal clear, else people are going to misinterpret. So that did change, but it didn't change what I think is most important.
You don't advocate much in the way of interacting.
It's all interactive.
Yours.
Yeah, the learning platform is just what you would use in a teleconference. I mean, in 2001, I bought this little Polycom and put 3 people on Skype. One of them was in Phoenix, one was in Austin, and one was in West Houston, which is like halfway to Phoenix. And they were calling into the class. We didn't have any video, but now the platform we have has my picture, all the students' pictures on it. I can show PowerPoint. We can have discussions. We've got full audio, full video capability. So it's not the same as being there. But there are also students in the class, so that's what I mean both. If I'm away, then we're all online. If I'm there, about half the class is in the room, and the other half of the class is calling in from Los Angeles or Wisconsin or places like that. So it is all interactive. When people think of online education, they think of automatic education. They think of drill and kill. They think of just reading and writing a paper, throwing it over the wall, getting a grade back, or doing math problems, without. Some things can be taught that way, and should be, because they're very efficient. You can't teach sophisticated skills that way. There has to be interaction. Great. I think we probably wore them out.
Let's give Dr. Bishop